we're live. I'm on the Hoops Podcast, show with the freshest opinion and views in the world's most beautiful game. I am your host, Greg. I'm here with the homies, Brian, TK, Leak.
Back.
Boys, how we feeling, man?
Feeling good, man. Feeling good.
Welcome back, Leak.
Appreciate it. I'm trying to think. Got back in the day from a little birthday activity. Saw my peoples last week. I was in Atlanta. Matter of fact, some of my frat bros had a celebration, and then I feel like the week before I was here.
Yeah, I don't think you missed.
You just missed 2 weeks straight. That's it.
Missed 2 weeks.
Missed 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Two pods.
Two pods. But yeah.
Straight. Ain't no thing.
Welcome back.
TK, how we feeling?
I'm tired, bro.
Come April, May, June playoff time, that's gonna be my best content. So I'm just
But we gonna be on the road. That's the AAU season right there.
Yeah, we got to figure something out.
We have to change it up to week.
We got to figure something out.
Midweek pods.
Yeah, we'll make it work. Are y'all ready to get going?
I'm ready, man. This is an interesting week of basketball.
This is an interesting week of basketball. We got a lot for y'all. Hey, please be sure to like, subscribe, share, throw that in there early. Make sure I bring it back around at the end. But let's get going. Russ returns to OKC. They lose.
Convincingly.
Convincingly. To the guy they traded away, Chris Paul and the Thunder. What do y'all make of his return? There was also some controversy in his return as well, about him sitting on the end of the bench or whatever.
I saw that. He looked very, very upset. I mean, he definitely, I'm sure in his mind, wanted to go off, wanted to get the dub.
He shot the ball well, but he just didn't play well.
He turned it over. And
7 times.
Yeah, when you turn the ball over almost 2 times a quarter, you're definitely not helping your team's chances of winning.
Yeah, mind you didn't play like half the fourth. You definitely would have had another turnover.
That game it was out of
Wow.
We don't have to call it almost 2 a quarter. He would have definitely had another one.
But I think it's also more so, I mean, we've already known, the media's never going to talk about it, but the way the Rockets just already play, like, D'Antoni's style is not conducive to playoff winning basketball.
No, not at all.
And then, and vice versa, OKC, man, like, I was texting y'all out in the chat. I was just like, man, like, I said it before pod. I wouldn't be shocked if OKC would be in the fight for the 7-8. Y'all definitely scared me into saying it live on the pod, but I wish I would have stuck by it because, like, one thing I do know is, like, Billy Donovan is allowed to coach now. And he's reminding everybody why he got that team in the first place when they were honestly having the best roster in OKC history that 2016 year he inherited that team. That was right before Serge left. They had Dion Waiters, and he was still somewhat contributing off the bench. There's a reason they were up 3-1.
Did you say that's the best amount
that OKC has, I feel like, had in recent years.
Okay. I was about to say, like, whoa. There was the time when they went to the finals. But I do get what you're saying.
But, nah. But I feel like that 2016 was better because those
that
guys
2016
they went to the finals
team
was more
a tough
mature.
team. No, it was a very good team.
Very good team.
Very good team. To some way, I agree. Billy Donovan does get to coach, but I'm just gonna say it. Chris Paul's doing his thing. I mean, it's no other way around it. Chris Paul is probably one of the best minds of this generation in hoopers. Y'all can call him what you want to call him, losers, whatever. I disagree with him being a loser. Do I think his career is underwhelming when you look at it in totality? A little, yeah, but I don't think that necessarily calls
really
him.
Nice way.
That's not calling him a loser. I don't think that's calling him a loser. I think that's like another chink where you say, like, man, at the end of it all, he's one of the greatest point guards ever. He's just not gonna get a ring. But that doesn't necessarily make him a loser. And I think this is what that's showing. Like, he's taking a team and a young Shea, really.
It's kind of like they're all doing it together. Still.
Yeah.
Like, he's definitely still, like, the leader of it, but, like, there's plenty of games where Shea is the best player on the floor.
Oh, hands down. I think there was one game he came up with 32, but then
switch off,
then CP came back and dropped like 20 and a quarter versus somebody, and I was like, man, it's really a product of his just as much as his leadership, just as much as Billy Donovan's coaching.
It's Billy, great coaching. It's Chris being a great leader. It's Shea being a young and upcoming stud.
Right.
It's Schroeder saying, hey, somebody come get me on a competitive team.
Right.
Because, I mean, he can definitely – I was telling Tamon, he can start in the East for sure. I feel as if at the point guard spot. There are teams in the East that could use him starting right now.
Yeah.
Like, there's a reason when he left, he was in Atlanta, they were a playoff contender with not really a Eastern Conference contender, but they were technically a 1 seed at a time with him in the starting lineup.
No, that was Jeff T.
The year that was Jeff. Okay,
Jeff T was
Dennis was the backup.
But that year he was a 1. They were 1. If you watch those minutes, they were starting to slide him out. Like Jeff T was on paper, and he did start, but like a lot of those games, Schroeder was getting more and more minutes. So I mean, he can definitely start in the East. Steven Adams is somebody that I feel like if he goes to the Eastern Conference, that team is going to automatically advance one further round than what they would have. Yeah. Like, I give Boston a chance. Actually, I give them a legitimate shot to come out of the East if they were to get a guy like that.
Yeah, and I think
another ball handler.
You're talking about Steven Adams.
Oh, my fault.
Yeah. But I do think we talked about this a week ago or 2 weeks ago. We were like, at this point, I don't think OKC really makes any moves.
Yeah.
I think at this point they're gonna let this ride this out.
Yeah, I think they would have to get like a massive haul for Chris Paul in order to move him at this point. It would have to be something they can't pass up.
And I don't think there's any team that's gonna.
Yeah, that contract is just so big.
Crazy.
Hey,
I could definitely see a team cashing out next season though.
Hey, I can see a team, any of those Eastern Conference teams, believing that they could make.
You know
what
team would be crazy to do it? They probably wouldn't, because this guy would be so opposite of future development. Maybe have to be a 3-team deal. But John Wall for Chris Paul would not be contract-wise. It matches up. Contract-wise.
Why would Washington do it?
Huh?
Why would Washington do it?
Depending on, they might be in a mode, I feel like, where they're ready to switch it over and be like, Brad, like, we want you to be that guy. But what if John comes back and he's not that?
But
the same that
I'm willing to take my chances with a younger John Wall.
They might be, but it's more so maybe what if they ask Brad, like, yo, like, Brad, like, he's trying to win now potentially, but John is just like not helping. I think at Chris Paul's rate, he can play from a standpoint where Brad can be the best guy on the team. I have a feeling John's gonna want to come back and still play as if he's like that guy.
How does that literally help your team?
I'm not gonna argue that point.
Yeah.
I was just saying I would see if a team were to try to make a move.
But why would the Wizards? I don't see the
benefit. I feel like that just makes you an 8
8
seed to get blown out in the first round.
Yeah,
I think either way. But I'm saying I'm just saying don't be shocked if when John Wall comes back, if he's not the same guy that he is, that they won't have him on the market. And it's gonna have to be for something because he is a massive contract. So it's gonna have to either be a lot of smaller pieces coming back, or he's being traded for another max player.
All right, I can see a team like. I would love to see Milwaukee try to get him.
Yeah,
that would be to see Milwaukee try to get Chris Paul. I think that would be really interesting.
That almost automatically puts them in the finals.
I think so, but the question becomes, what do you send back? And they don't really have young assets.
It would have to be minimum Eric Bledsoe. And that just started.
And Sam Press doesn't want that.
Like I said, Milwaukee doesn't have the young assets to send back. That's the issue there. So it would have to be a 3-team deal.
It definitely would. And I'll say this about Chris, like, I don't know what he really wants now, like, personally, because, I mean, he's just been saying in the media, just continuing to be a leader, help these young guys out, play hard, beat every team in front of him that he can. But he kind of made this bet, and he somewhat has to lie in it 2 years ago when I feel like Taman and I talk about it with that injury when it was the hamstring situation in game 6 or 7. Like, we wanted him to at least see, like, yo, can you potentially go? And I feel like we talked about it. He didn't want to play because when it came time to talk bread, he wanted to be 100% healthy, so they couldn't offer him a penny less. But now that he has gotten all of his bread, it is so happens to be a contract that nobody wants.
I mean, yes, he made this bet.
I'm not hating on him either for getting his bread. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying this is the price that he is paying for it now. If he wants to be in a situation where he can be on a competitive team, somebody would have to trade for it.
To an extent, I don't think it's because of that injury. I think he took a huge contract, and he's an aging star.
But put it this way. I'm saying the back end was...
Technically, he had to. Like, being the president of the Players Association, you can't. You have to try to get as much money as you can.
I'm not saying there's an issue with him taking that, because I don't expect anybody to turn down 40-something mil. What I'm more so getting at is right now he wants to, or at least we're assuming he wants to be on a team that's winning and competitive.
Of course, naturally.
2 years ago, like I said, it was a hamstring injury. You know what I'm saying? And when we talk about some of the greats that we talk about, we love them because there was some type of moment, or maybe they were nicked up going into the game and we were fully aware of it.
Yeah.
And then they played through it, or they made the attempt. We have always given Kevin Durant credit for his whole Golden State decision and all that. Some of us have for going back.
I agree.
For going back out there, knowing that he knew he tore his Achilles beforehand. But for the love and for really wanting to compete, he went out there. Right. We know about times where Kobe has won finals not having feeling in his fingers.
Right.
You know, there's like Jordan, he played beat up. Bird has played through injuries. Magic has. A lot of the greats have. So, like, I just wanted him to at least make an attempt to step out on that floor with a hamstring. And once again, I don't have an issue with your sentiment in that. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I don't have an issue with your sentiment with that. I'm saying I don't think it matters in terms of his contract. I think this is where the effect is on that. At the time, CP, everybody knew he was already an aging point guard at the time. Right. Everybody in the league operates the way they do, for one, with injuries and coming back because of what we saw to happen at IT in Boston. Yeah. He had an injury going into that contract.
Lost out on $100 million.
No, way more than that. He ended up getting
at least
he was supposed to get one of those 200+ max contracts.
No, I don't think he was going to get that. No, he wasn't on the team long enough.
They didn't have his bird rights. He was all NBA. He made all NBA though.
He wasn't gonna get $200 million. It was gonna be something crazy, but it wasn't $200 million.
I'm gonna look it up before the pod, but he was eligible for a max contract. But basically, what I'm getting at is, CP3 was an aging point guard. Any injury that happened to him that year that is lingering, they could have used that in those contract negotiations. Excuse me, be like, you got this injury, like that would give them a reason to give him less bread than that $44 million. Right. So I get it. He did not want to step on that floor because he knows I'm a 33, 34+ point guard. If they want to say, you're getting older and your hammies are hurt, right, like, we don't know, they could offer him less bread. So he skipped out on his OG Isaiah Thomas moment, breaking his ankle and going for 25 in the third. Not saying he had to do that, right, but I just wanted the effort to go ahead and try because, bro, it's a hammy. Kevin Durant went out there, and he at least knew, like, he's sacrificing an entire year. Had Chris Paul went out there, darn, this hurts. I'm going to come back out in 2-3 minutes, and I'm going to shut it down. He would have been able to play the start of the following season. Look, and I'm just saying he passed up on that winning. That was an opportunity to go to the finals. He passed up on a chance for that to get that 44 M's. But now, bro, you got it. But now winning teams don't want to get you. So I'm saying he has.
I don't think that's the case. I really don't think that's the case.
A lot of teams aren't going to want to take on that contract from a 30+ year point guard.
I said this last pod. I think there's players in the league that you're willing to cash out on. I don't think him at this age. And I don't know.
I don't see why not when you're playing this well. What winning team do you think? I guarantee
when you're playing this well, why not?
Any winning
Maybe
team.
Not this season, but I could definitely see in the offseason sometime next year. Like, I could definitely see.
Take a guess. So I bet you they have a point guard that's doing more solid.
Let Ben Simmons have another bad playoff. I won't surprise me if Elton Brand starts making a phone call.
Like there are teams out there that's looking to cash out. Milwaukee. Yeah. I mean, we mentioned that. No, they don't have the pieces, but there's teams out there that are desperate because they're trying to either hold on to something they already have,
Minnesota,
or trying to make something happen.
Minnesota.
I don't know if they would have. You don't want to lose. You don't want to lose Andrew on a max. They got.
You don't want to lose Cat. You don't want to lose Giannis. You don't want to lose.
I don't think
you don't want to lose all these players. You don't want to miss out on your window with Embiid. Like knowing he has injuries. Like there's teams that's willing to cash out on them, and he's still hooping. I think that's the part that's getting. Like
he is.
I made this case for Blake Griffin, but I can admit Blake Griffin is struggling and hasn't been playing well this year at all.
Chris Paul is playing amazing.
Chris Paul is playing great.
He is.
He's playing. He's playing 3 times better than Russell Westbrook right now.
I want to see them in the playoffs.
Like, my only problem with everything you're saying about Chris Paul, he should have tried to play into this. Like, we have to keep in mind, Chris Paul is somebody who's literally battled injuries his entire career.
You know, there's been rumors, guys around the league have said he's a great IQ guy, plays hard, all of that. But there have been people to say the same way LeBron is known for taking care of his body and injury prevention, there have been some to say, like, Chris isn't the most concerned with taking care of his body and injury preparation.
In comparison to LeBron, who spent
in comparison, but people have said like
even with
Chris
that,
don't prepare and take care of his body like a guy of his caliber should.
Once again, even with that, this is still a guy who, for the majority of his career, has battled injuries and played primarily through most of them. He has suffered from hamstring injuries his entire career.
Do you think that's potentially an issue, though, maybe of how are you going about rehabbing it? If it's something that is lingering. I think part of it is
rehab. I think it's also part of it. He's a 6 foot, 160-pound point guard in the NBA playing 82 games in a very physical league. He's going to struggle to maintain his health.
The past few years, though, like through the Clippers on, if you look at his games, he wasn't like maybe that first 2 to 3 years, but the latter part of him with the Clippers and him being with Houston, he was not playing like high 70s. He was getting hurt a lot, and he was missing games.
And that's my point,
it was like early nuance, but like I said, if it's something like an injury that's still nagging you, even Steph, he was getting nagged by them ankles, but even after a while, he was able to get over that. At a certain point in time, you just got to look into how you rehabbing, what are you doing to take care of your body.
But once again, it wasn't always his.
It wasn't always hammy. Yeah,
it's like he tore meniscus. Yeah. He broke. I think he tore a ligament in his thumb. Like he's had a number of injuries throughout his career that has always popped up at some point or another. Some guys are just injury prone. Like there's just no way around it. And granted, maybe he could take care of himself a little bit better early in his career. I agree with all that. But I trust Chris Paul to know his body. He's had enough hamstring injuries in his career to know, like, me going out here probably won't end well. It might lead to me tearing something else. It might be like, yo, I can't do this. Like, I know my body well enough to know I'm not going to be able to guard Steph Curry. I'm not going to be able to be explosive off the pick and roll, whatever the case may be. He knew. I trust Chris Paul's opinion of himself to make the right decision in that moment. Now, granted, we all would love to say, yes, we wanted to see you try in that moment. I trust Chris Paul's opinion.
Do you think at all, because we know how smart Chris is, do you think he thought about those 44 M's at all with making that decision?
Of course he did.
Everybody would. I think also Chris Paul is so competitive, and it is widely known that he's one of the most competitive individuals in the NBA. He was also like, yo, I'm really close to an NBA title.
He's competitive, but it's also been known he's competitive in his own way. He was also one of those guys that got labeled that. Of course, we know he's one of the greatest passers ever, but the assist hunting, more so of I'm not going to make the right I'm not going to make this pass because it's the best basketball play. I'm going to make this pass because I know it's a dunk and it's going to be an assist for me.
I've definitely faulted him for that. But I also remember in that series, Houston wasn't winning because of James Harden.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
They were winning because of Chris Paul.
He was cooking it up.
Like, he was the reason they were going to go to the finals.
Bro, that's all. And all I wanted, bro, I guess, like I said, because he was that close. Like, for so long, I had been waiting for Chris Paul to have a moment like that. And I remember the series before when they played Utah, it was an elimination game. He went for like 40-plus and like almost 15 dimes. And it was a game like that where I'm like, Chris, I've been waiting for you to do that your entire career. Nah, but I'm saying in an elimination games, bro, there was everybody knew, Chris, you were entirely too talented to have not been not only Western Conference Finals, it had been a minute for him to touch the second round. And some of these series, he's up. I saw him up 3-2, I believe, on San Antonio and not get it done. We've seen him also have that series against the Rockets where we know he should. It's not all his fault, but he is the leader of that team. That comeback was made without Harden on the floor. Elite guys that we talk about at the end of the day close out situations like that. So what I'm just saying is, he should have, for one, definitely 2015 had made that Western Conference Finals, so we get him to match up against Steph. So, like, I just always wish, and Kyrie is another guy similar to this. Outside of what Kyrie did that year with Bron, I want his winning to just match up with his high level of talent. And I guess that's just why I judge Chris as such a high caliber.
Yeah, and that's fair. And time will tell. I think time will tell on Kyrie too. Kyrie's return is he came back tonight.
Yeah.
Blew out Atlanta without Trey.
10 for 11, 20 minutes, 21 points.
So he did his thing.
We know, and like I said, we know he's gonna fill it up.
Yeah.
There's only, honestly, now to him, there's only one statistic that matters.
Winning.
And was it a dub or a L?
It's a dub.
It was a dub.
Today, it was the Hawks.
And that's Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, hey, a win's a win because
without Trey,
they were
an NBA team.
for now. No, stop.
Oh man.
But Chris, I mean, like there was just so many moments, I guess, when you look back in this Warriors dynasty run where like it could have been done. Like I tell Manny all the time, like, bro, the Houston Rockets will never get closer to an NBA Finals than that ever again. You are up 3-2 on the greatest team arguably ever. Of course, the Warriors 2016 went 73-9, but that was when they had KD and they were going for that second ring. Yeah. They had them 3-2 with Game 7 in their crib. You can't get closer to an NBA Finals than that. You cannot.
Man, it happens sometimes, man.
It
happens sometimes. When the talent's better, it happens.
That is sick.
Like I said, only like real playoff loss I like really blame on Chris Paul. Like I'm like, yo, you really should have won. Was when they lost that 3-1 lead to Houston. Like that's the only one when he was in LA. I was like, man, you should have won that series. Every other one, I'm like, he either lost to a team that was more talented or somebody on the team got hurt. Yeah. It was just like Chris Paul is one of the most unlucky superstars in NBA history. It's honestly feels like that.
One of them years he had a couple of
not,
at least one
it's
or
not
two
one
with the
year.
Clippers. No, one of them years I believe it was 2014. I want to say it was like a Game 6 and he choked up. I think he turned that joint over late. Just
like
some
everybody has those moments though. That's everybody in NBA history.
I wouldn't say this is what I would say. I can't remember, of course, off the top of my head. I feel like we go back though and look at some of that film. Look at each series, all of their like ways they went out. It wasn't just Chris Paul being unlucky. Like, it's definitely the last two. I remember one year in the playoffs, I think him and Blake got hurt. Yeah. I think the last year with the Clips, I think Blake got hurt again.
He got hurt the year before that.
So, yeah, it was like two to three at the end of the live CD era where, like, yeah, guys had injuries. It was very unlucky. But, like, I remember one year they lost to, like, Memphis when they shouldn't have. And I remember they lost to OKC when they honestly could have made it to at least the Western Conference Finals. Like, that was the thing. It was like, Chris, we've seen you, like, flirt in between this first and second round thing for too long, man.
I mean, the West was messy, and we could go back to that. We've done this 3 times over, but the West was messy at that time. Like, you had the Spurs playing great basketball. You had Kevin Durant coming up into being one of the greatest scorers.
Kevin Durant.
At that time,
like Kevin Durant averaged 33 in that series. Like, I don't know what you wanted CP3 to do.
It was messy, bro. The West was messy.
But isn't that whole point in time? Weren't we still called through all of that? All them years you're talking about, we were saying Chris Paul was the best point guard in the league.
He averaged 22 and 11. Like, what did you want him to do?
What I wanted him to do, I guess there were certain points in those games.
He shot 50, 40, 90 in that series. Like, what did you want?
Which one?
Against OKC, the year you're talking about, 2013, 14.
But it's not even, so that's what I'm saying. Yes, okay, you're going to look at the statistics and say, yes, he did shoot a great, but, bruh, I remember at least Game 6, he had some moments where it was like, bro, close it. Close the game. It's not dribble around. It's not, at that point in time, I don't need come off this ball swing 3-4 times looking for the lob to pat your stats. I need you to finish the game. And that's what I'm saying. To disagree. What I need out of him is a Curry performance when you have 0 points in the first half.
He's not Curry.
But I need him to be elite. The elite.
Like, he's not Curry.
Being able to finish the game, that doesn't have to be just Curry. We've seen elite guards just finish games.
I can name, like, how many that won titles. You can name Curry and Isaiah Thomas. That's it.
I need him to win a title. I'm just saying to get to the conference.
I saw him hit game winners against San Antonio and send them home. Like, I saw him do it multiple times.
I'm saying.
Like, you want him to do it every series. He got to do it in round 1, round 2, round 3, and the championship. Otherwise, it don't count.
I didn't say win the championship. Didn't say win a chip.
Like, what do you want? Like, he has to hit a game winner in every series. Otherwise, he's not clutch.
It doesn't. That's okay. Of course, that's extreme because the other guys I named did not hit game winners in every series. But outside of that first round shot, yes. Name me another time where Chris Paul has either had a takeover performance. You
named one already against Utah.
All right, so
we named two against Golden State. I saw him do it twice against Golden State.
When?
When they lost and he got hurt. He closed them out twice in that series. He
closed the series.
We got to agree to disagree.
Yeah.
We got to agree to disagree. All right. On that night, while Russ returned, while OKC pulled out the win versus Houston, there was some conversations brewing on Twitter between former OKC great Kevin Durant and Kendrick Perkins. I'm just going to leave it at that. Of course, the conversation got kind of murky. They were going back and forth about who was Mr. Thunder. And Kendrick Perkins was talking about how Russ is the all-time great Thunder player, which
I also told Tamon is technically from and Brian, you shouldn't have anything to say because we look at stats. It proves that Russell is the best player to put on a Thunder uniform.
He wasn't.
Of course, we know KD.
He means more to OKC than Kevin.
Yes.
I'll give you that one hands
and you'll be the first one to pull up. He did this, this, and this. If you look at stats, Russ is the first in a lot of those Thunder categories in career.
I mean, if you just want to talk about raw numbers, then I guess Russ wins that.
So y'all gonna let me finish getting this?
My fault.
All right,
but that is true.
I'm talking about raw numbers, and sure.
All right, but the conversation did take a shift when Kendrick Perkins and Kevin Durant started talking about their play and how much they mattered to the team, and it really took a left turn when Kendrick Perkins tweeted, "KD lost in the second round without Russ when I was there, so what does that mean?" And then Kevin Durant came back and said, "Yeah, and our starting center, which was Perk at the time, averaged a whopping 2 and 3 during that series. You played hard, champ." And then Kendrick Perkins brought up the fact that Kevin Durant went off to Golden State to get his rings.
I just want to analyze that for a second, right? So when we're talking about debates and back and forth and people are arguing, one of the go-to tricks from somebody who's losing that argument is to attack somebody's character, and that's what Perk just did.
Yep.
So that's like a stage one, like lesson one, like debating 101.
Yep.
When you find yourself in a tough spot, you attack someone's personal, because it makes their opinions seem less valid.
Yep.
So the fact that KD just said, boom, I'm going to point to pure evidence as to why you should shut up.
Facts.
He said, of course, the only thing that anybody can really say against KD is you join the team that beat
exactly
the team and join the team that beat you. Perk was drowning and pulling for a stick at that point to help him float.
Facts.
It was entertaining, but he didn't really say anything.
Hey, look, I'm gonna be upfront with you. and I said this. I said I didn't want to do it, but I kind of put it all out there on Twitter as well. I'm sick of that entire Boston mob.
Every last one of them.
I am sick of them, bro.
I felt bad that Perk speaking out led it to people going back because people hate that Boston mob, and I like them. I get that they talk a lot, but
they talk too much for one ring.
I would like for Perk to be judged solely on Perk. I would not like this to be chalked up to we hate the
No.
Because
look,
this is why
I'm gonna tell you the same thing I told Twitter, bro. KG can get it off because he's a legend. Everything he said about LeBron, even though I don't agree with it, he can get that off because he's probably one of the greatest power forwards of all time.
Top 3.
Paul Pierce can't stand him. He's a Hall of Famer. He's getting
Finals MVP.
Finals MVP. Great ball player. You, Kendrick Perkins? Yeah. Shut up, sit down. You have no right to say anything to Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
If you weren't on that Boston mob, I wouldn't know who you were. I would know Brian Scalabrine more than I know you, bro. Mm-hmm. So don't talk. You sit there and you mind your business.
White Mamba.
Because that doesn't make any sense for him to come out and speak like that to Kevin Durant. Who, mind you, I can't recall the last time Kevin Durant didn't score 10 points. Kendrick Perkins' career high is 10 points. Waste of space. He should not be on the court. He should not be in the same mentions as Kevin Durant. Nope. And I'm not even a Kevin Durant fan like that. But as soon as he started wilding like that, I was like, nah, bro, I'm done with him. I'm done with this entire Boston mob because they be getting some nonsense off. Especially, I was sick of them back when they said when Paul Pierce said he was better than D Wade. I'm like, bro, no. Sit down. Y'all bugging. All of them. They bugging. I'm tired of them. They need to go away.
I'll say this. I thought about, we all give Paul a lot.
Well said, Greg.
We all give Paul a lot of flack. Rightfully so. One reason I had to take a step back, and I was like, why potentially does Paul say some of the things he says?
He wants validation. He's one of those guys that want validation. And guys like Dwayne Wade don't need to speak when they're that great.
Yeah.
But when you question your own greatness, you do all this talking. And that's what that Boston mob does. They keep questioning their own greatness, and then they talk like they did this for a 3-4 year span. They did this one time, bro.
I always say this. In that 3-year span, their little championship window or whatever,
one ring and
Kobe got 2. He'd been to 3. They've been to 2. They got 1.
And they'll say they never lost fully healthy. That's what they'll say.
Yeah.
That's cute, but nobody ever really wins fully healthy. Like that's very. I think it's more rare to win fully healthy than it is to.
I agree with that. Like I said, I'm just like I said, KG, Paul Pierce.
They can say. I don't care what they can say. I don't care what they can say. You just said
we were fully healthy. We beat everybody.
You just said it though. You just said it. What about Chris Paul? Kyrie. At the end of the day, what is it about? It's about W's.
If you're on
it's about W's. And I gave me one ring. Y'all walking around here talking like y'all the dream team or something. Shut up, bro.
If you're on the court, you're fully healthy.
Hey.
In a sense, like, yeah.
But they weren't on the court. That's the thing. Like, KG got hurt, wasn't playing. Kendrick Perkins didn't play. And granted, they will all say Kendrick Perkins was very vital to that team.
They can say whatever they want to say, bro. They can say whatever they want to say, bro.
Like, and they said that. They said that way before this ever happened. They were like, "Yo, Kendrick Perkins was the anchor of our defense."
I feel like what it is, and like I said in the chat, like that Boston team's still very good, man. Like I think there are teams that they can match up with today. But what it is, they were the first model of what a super team is. So it was good for the time being.
But why are they having 10-year celebrations?
I mean, they can do that. Like
they cannot do that, bro.
They have a 10-year celebration after they win a ring.
Nobody else is doing this.
Nobody else
is doing this. I think they actually honor. I think they did it for Detroit. That 2014, they got.
And guess what? They go back to their respective homes and they don't say a word. And Ben Wallace is 3 times the player Kendrick Perkins was, and I don't hear a word from him. He lived in Richmond. All my man does is lift weights and chill, bro.
Players, man. It's just different types of people.
No, man, shut up, Perk. Shut up. You got a job on the jump. You talk about basketball, but don't you ever try to compare yourself to Kevin Durant, bro.
Okay, he didn't try to compare himself to KD. Yeah. He didn't do that. He did not try to compare himself to KD.
Great. In Perk's defense, he didn't do that. I agree with everything else you're saying.
I agree with you too. I want to make that clear. I agree with you too. But he did not try to compare himself to KD.
I think he did it subtly. And this is why I talk about the art of debating.
He did it on the jump.
Because what happened?
Go ahead.
I'm just going right back to the tweets. This is how I saw him do it the first time, suddenly. Because when KD called him champ, I think he took that sarcastically.
He did. I think KD was honestly just joking with him, to be truthfully honest.
Yo, KD, he was chilling. But then that's what made it like that's when Perk had brought up the KD's rings.
Got real serious.
There's where the comparison was really subtle. It's like basically Perk is saying I earned mine. Which
whatever, bro.
Yeah.
I guess whatever. I can name 10 bigs that could have did what Kendrick Perkins did.
Realistically, yeah.
Easily.
I mean, I'm not gonna argue that. I'm not gonna argue that.
I'm done. I ain't got nothing to say on Boston, bro.
Russ is the best player to put on it.
I think he's the most important.
He's not the best player. You have to use the actual words and definitions.
It's not even close.
Okay, all right.
So that's the argument. Like
he'll go down as having the most. He's the most
like Dwight Howard holds all the Orlando Magic records. Like, is he better than Shaq? No.
But he did more. No, but he did do more. We know he's not better than Shaq.
I think Russ is just gonna go down as more loved than KD.
Exactly, I agree with that. Like, I think he's more well liked, and I think he'll be remembered more.
Did more for the Thunder than Kevin Durant did.
Did he really?
Kevin Durant got them to a finals.
Okay, like, and this is the dumbest argument he made that Kendrick Perkins made was Kevin Durant lost in the second round. Oh, Russell Westbrook didn't get out the first round without KD.
Here's
with
where,
Paul George.
Here's where I would give
twice.
Here's where I would give credit to Russ. Russ was there during a moment where they was at that.
When it would have been easy for any star to be like, you know what, I'm a rock.
Yeah, like
he
was
there.
I
applaud him for that.
Give Russ credit for. I say there's a lot of guys that first team when he was all by himself. That first team, there's a lot of guys who don't take that team to the playoffs in the West. There's a lot of superstars where you switch it, they don't get that team to the West.
But we celebrated him for that.
Yeah, and
because he was by himself, he was allowed to play like Russ. Just like Russ, just do whatever it takes to get us to the playoffs. But then when you give him top 10 pieces like PG and you lay an egg back-to-back playoffs in the first round, you didn't really do anything. I can say this, like, Nah. Definitely. KD is the best person to ever put on Thunder jersey. I'll take it a step further. Like, he's the best player to ever play for that organization.
I mean, yeah, I guess between
he is the greatest Thunder. They just don't love him as much.
I mean,
Russ
they're not
gonna
admit
well
that.
liked Thunder.
That's all
he's
it is.
He's the more popular guy.
Like, you can talk about accomplishments. Like, Russ got a whole lot of numbers, but don't every week we come on here and say those numbers are all BS.
Yeah.
So it can't be that one way and then give it to the other way.
I won't say it's like BS, but there's some holes through the numbers in a sense. So, because you do got to give him credit for doing something that hadn't been done since Oscar Robertson.
But it's faulty.
Yeah, I to some extent I give Russ a lot of credit for what he did, and right after the aftermath of Kevin Durant leaving, because that was a moment where I was like, man, we ain't going nowhere right now.
No, it definitely was great, but when it wasn't needed anymore, golly, tone it back.
So I think his respect is earned in OKC.
Yeah, he should be more. He should be more loved than KD there.
Yeah, I don't think
he's just not the greatest Thunder.
I don't have a problem with you saying he's the most popular Thunder. Like I said, he's more well loved. That's all well and good. To say Russell Westbrook is the best player OKC ever had is just a false statement. Because I guarantee if you ask OKC fans straight up, unbiased opinion, who would you rather have right now? They're going to say KD. Or who they wish left and who stayed. I guarantee 95% are going to say KD. No questions asked.
I think 100% of the world wish KD would have stayed.
I'm saying like you had to pick one, like you had to ship one out and keep one. Most would say, y'all, we should. Yeah. I guarantee if you ask most people who they should have kept, James Harden or Russell Westbrook.
Yeah,
James Harden.
Yeah.
So come on, Perk.
Talk about that no more.
Come on, Perk.
That hurts, man. That hurts.
Like you did yourself no favors in this argument.
OKC ended up with the ugly friend. It's like it's a group of bad girls, but the third friend's only bad because she hangs around the bad girls. You isolate her and you realize she's dumber than bricks.
Well, if you want to be honest, she ended up with the ugly guy friend too. Like, OKC's the worst city out of Houston, Brooklyn, and LA.
Great organization.
Or Golden State.
Great personality.
Great personality. We all love him. He's a cool person.
That's a cool dude. I just can't take him out to the bar with me if we're going to be hitting on women.
Exactly. Or, that could work for you in your favor, though.
All right, we're done here. We're done here.
Y'all not. You rather than me, right?
Hey.
Y'all make me sick.
My fault.
Because girls do hang around. They'll bring a friend around.
Can we leave my Thunder alone?
I just said, all right. Dang.
You were a Spurs fan once upon a time. Chill out.
During a good era, too.
Wow.
During a great era.
Pulling cars like
During a great era. And the fact that he did that on air is crazy. But I don't care. That's true. I was a huge fan of Tim Duncan, Manu, Bruce Bowen. TP, great mob.
Like those guys didn't exist while they played the Thunder.
Great mob.
Yo, wow, you kind of switched to the team that beat y'all.
Hey, man. Hey.
Thank you.
Kevin Durant came on, and I'm like, bro, I'm a fan. And then I saw Harden, he came on, like, I'm a fan. And I was like, Russ, you know what? I traded it in.
That's crazy. You chose up.
Interesting.
All right.
Interesting.
Where we going next, man?
We might as well get to the
other beef. Jimmy Butler, TJ Warren.
Yeah,
that was hilarious, bro.
That was funny.
So Miami Heat, Indiana Pacers, played last. What day was that? Thursday, Wednesday, something like that. And Jimmy Butler and TJ Warren got into a little scuffle. I don't call anything a fight or brawl until I see fists thrown, and it's not a brawl because the only brawl I ever seen was Indiana versus Detroit, and that was wild. There's nothing that compares to that ever.
Yeah.
So everything now is just a scuffle to me. But Jimmy Butler has some choice words for TJ Warren during and after the game. Called him trash. Said he had no business guarding him, and the stats would say he's right because TJ Warren wasn't doing a thing, and Jimmy Butler only missed one shot while TJ Warren was guarding him. I think he was like 5 for 6 at that time.
In TJ's defense, he's never been known for defense, so
hey, so
it is what it is.
So
Jimmy
wasn't
right.
lying. Yeah, Jimmy wasn't lying.
Jimmy was
won't
right.
lie.
So they're supposed to play again. I think March.
Circled the date.
Yeah, he uncircled the
He
date
circled
already.
it on his Instagram.
What do y'all make of this, man? Is this just heat in the moment type stuff, or is there some serious hate there?
Me and Leek and I think Manny had talked about it briefly.
And I want to know what he said.
I
what I
said,
wanna know.
oh, what TJ said?
What did TJ say?
I can't say it on air. I definitely read his lips. Definitely read his lips. But what was going with this? Oh, I had said that TJ's in a really tough position because he's in a lose-lose. You're not going to get the freedom to explore that one-on-one matchup with Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
One, if Jimmy really wanted to circle that date and said, that's the date I'm going to go for 40, 50 or whatever, his franchise pushes and backs him for that. He's the star player. He's the number one option on that team. You're not, because Vic is going to be in the swing of things by then.
Yeah, shout out Vic coming back.
And y'all are going to be fighting for playoff positioning. You can't afford to have that game against the Heat that are, the 2 seed right now?
Or to try to go one-on-one.
The 3 seed?
Yeah.
I don't think. Yeah. I think TJ's smart enough, though. I don't think he was going to make it a super-duper just, one-on-one battle.
But if Jimmy does, you can't, there's...
I don't think even... I think Jimmy's definitely going to make it his mission to get 40, but I don't think TJ is going to try to get 40 back. I think TJ is going to try to get his in the most efficient manner and contribute to a win.
And that's why I said it's a lose-lose. If
it's
Jimmy
not a lose if you win and he plays well. It's not a lose.
Yeah, but if Jimmy's going for 40.
If they lose, and what if he got it in a nasty manner? You got to see just how the game comes out.
But I don't think, just watching that Heat team, they don't do stuff in a nasty manner.
Mind you, and they don't. So if Jimmy still plays the way that they normally play, it's going to flow well and they're going to win. But I'm just saying, what if he just went off the grid for that night because he wants to go out of his way to give TJ 40? For all we know, he might use his aggression to actually the detriment of the team. If I had to take a guess, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I definitely think he's just going to have his eyes locked for whenever, TJ's on him and he's going to try to go to work. But TJ is still, at the end of the day, is no slouch.
TJ a bucket.
Yeah. I was about to say his goal.
Yeah, 19, 21
I was about to say his goal on Indiana already is to get 20 regardless. So, he was going to have his opportunities to get back at Jimmy. He'll have to just be on his P's and Q's that night.
I think TJ is in a tough spot because I don't think he can score on Jimmy Butler.
That's what I said.
disagree with that. I think TJ's a bucket.
I think he can.
Nah, bro.
I think he can.
I don't.
How many?
I don't think it's.
see.
I don't think it's
I
that.
think TJ's a
And
bucket.
Jimmy's gonna be locked in.
Exactly. I don't think it's gonna be that
We're gonna
easy.
see
bro.
how deep his bag is. And I'll say this,
Right.
hey, if he didn't have it in his bag, he got 2 months to get
if he
it.
gets 20, it ain't gonna be a cute 20.
We're gonna see.
It's not going to be a 20. He'll sit down before
They
let him get an ugly 20.
Does
My man
TJ get 20 points?
TJ can score.
Does TJ
TJ's
Warren
a
get 20
bucket.
points that game?
I'm not
TJ
hating on
like I
him.
I don't think he does.
I don't think he needs to get 20. That's never been TJ's game. Real
Does
talk has
TJ
never
Warren
been a
get
one-on. He's never been a one-on-one bucket guy. That's not his game.
He's been they
don't-
brought him there to put it in the basket. They
he
definitely
can put it in back. Don't get me wrong, but normally that's not really his game. He's more of a catch and shoot, catch one dribble off the curl.
Points are points.
I agree with that statement. I'm just saying, if he gets 20, it's not going to be like him sizing up Jimmy Butler, triple threat
And
position.
this is what I was talking to Tamon about.
God.
In reference to, I'm not even going to go deep into it unless y'all do. In reference to Kuzma,
we
don't know.
We had a whole topic. We had a whole topic
I was
for
just
it.
saying from the standpoint of you don't have to get, because of what Harden is doing in today's NBA, everybody now feels to me that your buckets have to be ISO related. TJ, like you just said, is one of those guys where it's not gonna be.
That's never been our point with Kyle Kuzma. Our point with Kyle Kuzma.
I wasn't even trying to get into Kuzma. I wasn't even trying to get into Kuzma. I wasn't even trying.
Just like I'll never admit TJ Warren is a superstar. He doesn't have superstar potential.
I never
He's
said
a bucket.
TJ Warren was a superstar as well.
Never mind. You missed the point.
You didn't make a point.
My point was simply.
Here we go.
What our whole point with Kyle Kuzma has been he's not a superstar.
I'm not even on.
That's been our point.
Not even on.
I've always said he's a bucket.
I'm not even on that. The reference point I was just trying to make was there's other ways to get 20 plus points, and it does not have to be majority ISO, which is what TJ is. So what that'll just mean is TJ, or not TJ, but Jimmy will just have to be, if he is guarding TJ, he's gonna have to just be that much more locked in off the ball. Because TJ still, if he comes off a pin down, off an off-ball screen, if he's just moving well without the ball, he can still get in a position where he can just catch and shoot or just make a play.
And what I'm saying is, I'm not so sure about that.
Yeah.
If Jimmy's locked in, I'm not sure that's a good game for TJ, personally.
Hey. I think TJ could
and
get
it's easy
his.
to score when you off the map.
TJ's not off the
He's
map.
not off the map.
I was about to say. His last.
It's not. I'm not necessarily saying. Okay.
When you're not the primary focus.
Yes. When you are not actually being hunted like that. We know Jimmy is the star of Miami. We know We know Harden is the star. We know Bron is the star. We know Luka is the star. Like, we know that those guys are going to be looked at the entire game. When you've actually created this moment for yourself where the star player of another team is looking at you and saying, you are not going to have a good game today, and it's going to be because of me, we've never seen that come from TJ. I mean
TJ, up until this year, had never been on a winning team, period.
True.
So this year, he's finally experiencing winning. He's produced very well in his role. Mm-hmm. This year, like I said, Victor Oladipo still hasn't come back. By that point, Victor Oladipo has been playing for at least a month. Like, so hopefully he'll be getting his legs under him. Malcolm Brogdon has clear-cut been the number one option for them. At best, T.J. Warren is the fourth option on this team because it's going to go Vic if he's healthy, Brogdon, Sabonis, and then Warren.
Miles Turner gets his touches.
And Miles Turner, I'm just talking about like in terms of the pecking order on offense. Like, truth be told, they have 5 guys they can go to.
And get you 15 minutes.
Real talk, I want to see that as a playoff matchup. That's one of my must-sees now for a playoff matchup.
I was like, forget March 20th.
I want to see that in the playoffs.
I want to see 7 games of that.
Because those are 2 teams that actually match up very well.
It's almost identical.
I actually pick Indiana. I think Indiana's better.
With Vic.
With Vic healthy, I think they are clearly better.
I think I would give Indiana the edge too, just because of their playoff experience.
Unless Bam Adebayo taps into his future All-Star.
But he can't guard Sabonis and Turner.
That's the problem. But Myers Leonard's getting worked out
somewhere.
Myers Leonard was getting worked out today. Like, Taj Gibson was working him out today. They were doubling.
Like I said, you can throw him on one of those and neutralize.
Bam, you throw Bam on the better one.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. But the other one is getting off there.
Yeah. Bam just get the one.
And then, like I said, if Jimmy gets so focused on TJ Warren, like, he's got to deal with Victor if Victor's healthy. Like, him and Victor are going to go at it if Victor is healthy. Now, granted, that's a big if because Vic's coming off a big injury.
And what's going to be interesting about that is both of those guys pride themselves on being
defensive, two-way players.
So that could be.
They're going to cancel out.
That's going to be. Yeah, I was about to say that's going to be one of the first.
It's going to be up to the Tyler Heroes. It's going to be up to the T.J. Warrens. It's going to be up to the Kendrick Nuns and the Malcolm Brogdons.
And I'm picking T.J. and Brogdon over everybody on Miami. I'm sorry, I'm taking those 2.
Yeah,
they're older. They're a little bit more experienced. I'm taking those 2 over everybody on Miami.
And I like to understand that. I can understand that. And right now,
that makes Jeremy Lamb their 6th man too. Good Lord.
And he's actually been
playing really well.
So,
young Aaron Holiday
versus
Aaron Holiday is
I'd
balling.
love an Aaron Holiday Kendrick Nunn matchup. I'm sure.
That's a good matchup.
So
2 young guys that are gonna be in this league
a long time.
All right.
So
I keep forgetting they have Doug McDermott just sitting there,
just chilling, ready to hit shots.
Yeah,
I forgot all about him.
Dang,
shooting 43% from 3 this year.
He's
still a shooter.
So I mean, if Vic comes back, man, like I said, the East. I said it weeks ago, man, and Taman laughed at me, but this is the best Eastern Conference we've seen in a minute. We are talking about a 6 seed being competitive. We're talking about a 6 seed here. We're at least 3 of us just said confidently we can see a situation.
I've been saying that all year. So
we see a situation where the current 6 seed can beat the 2. Or wait, they're what? Oh, they're actually 3 now. Okay.
Yeah, they lost to the Knicks tonight.
But do y'all feel as if they can get Boston if Boston does not add a
I said from jump, I could see Indiana coming out the East if things broke their way. Y'all call me crazy, but if things just
that had to be the greatest draw.
It would have to be. Like
it would have to start off with like Milwaukee getting like the 2 or something like that.
But it would be the only team I think they would really have to avoid that they couldn't beat is maybe Milwaukee.
Yeah.
That's the only team I can see they can't beat. They can beat Philly, they can beat Boston, they can beat Miami.
Philly would have to get Milwaukee out the way first.
Exactly.
So I think that comes with Philly right now is the 5. So they would be playing Milwaukee in the second round, I guess, if it went that way. So it would have to be something along Philly would have to see Milwaukee before Indiana did.
Facts.
Because like you said, I think Indiana can get
everybody.
Can get Philly. They can get Philly. They could get Boston. Toronto's pretty much out of it. Guys are getting hurt.
I'm not gonna say they're out of it. They're still winning games. They just blew out San Antonio.
I want to see how they just hold up standing wise, and like through the deadline because they got a couple guys that.
If they go into the playoffs healthy, would you want to play them?
If they go into it healthy, no. But it seems like since this past like month or so, they've had some pieces breaking down.
Yeah. I mean, I expected.
I think Van
and I called them to breaking down. I didn't call them to keep winning. I was like, guys are going to get hurt on this mob. They just went on a crazy run. They never did this before. They already got old pieces.
So here's the thing. Like, everybody on their injury, like, everybody that's injured them right now, it's not like anybody has a serious injury. They're all, like, day-to-day. It's groin, it's hamstring, it's shoulder. Like, nobody has a serious injury.
Pascal just
right
came
now,
back.
it's Pascal,
Norm
Mark,
just came back.
VanVleet, and Powell.
So Fred's hurt?
Fred's hurt right now.
How many games?
I don't know how many he's missed. He didn't play Wednesday. I don't know if he played tonight.
Pascal just came back and Norm just came back. I know that for a fact.
So if they just like.
But then right now it's still what, Mark?
Just Mark and VanVleet. And then you got to remember, there was a period at the beginning of the year they lost it. Ibaka, Lowry.
Everybody
like, they've been battling injuries all year, but they're still the 4 seed. Well, like I said, but y'all made me talk them down to the 6. I don't like y'all.
Are they?
No.
We know they're not coming out of the East.
Nah.
Do they spoil somebody's chances that lack?
I can see it.
And make the second round. If they make it the second round, they spoiled somebody's year.
Yeah.
Like I said, if they match up with Philly in the first round, like.
Can they spoil Philly?
Philly is the most interesting team in the NBA.
Yes.
You think they spoil Philly?
I think
it's possible.
When you can't shoot from 18 feet out, go watch that pod, y'all.
Good job.
When you can't shoot from 18 feet out, you're a problem. You're a liability.
Like, Philly has one of the highest ceilings. Like, if everything clicked, everything worked out, they have one of the highest ceilings in the NBA. But on the same token, I can see them crashing and burning so easily.
Yeah, bro.
Dang.
Yeah, bro.
So they can make the finals and lose.
They can make the finals and lose in the first round. I can see both scenarios, and neither one would shock me.
What in the world?
I would look back and go, okay,
it makes sense.
Brad.
Especially when we watch it back, it makes sense.
Right now, it is. If the playoffs were today, Milwaukee, Orlando, Boston, Brooklyn, I'd love it. We got to talk about this as well, man. Is Kyrie going to play in the playoffs? We'll talk about that.
Oh, yeah. We'll see.
Miami, Indiana, which would be Love, and Philly, Toronto. That, man, is one of the... Remember, it was like a couple of years ago. I want to say maybe in 2014. I think like all but one Eastern Conference series in the first round went to like Game 7.
Yeah.
I could see...
That could be some of it. Yeah, I could see it.
I could see like...
Bloodbaths.
I could see Boston... And at the 2, I could see a scenario where if Kyrie actually hoops and plays the win, where Boston and Brooklyn go to 7 games.
I've also heard, and not trying to change the topic, but I've also heard that the West, this might be the one year where the West might be a tad weaker in terms of conferences as compared to the East.
They're not.
Of course,
they're
you
not
got
weaker
your 2
than the
LE.
East. They're not weaker than the East.
Of course, you got your 2 LA teams that are top.
I'd say it's dead even.
But after that,
I don't think
it's a toss up.
I think it's dead even.
Yeah, I think the West is still a little stronger.
I mean, I'm just looking at quality of teams.
Quality of teams, I would feel like, are there more quality teams?
The West is more top heavy. I think the East might actually be deeper in terms of quality. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
In the East, like I said, I honestly see 16, or I'll say 5. I don't think Toronto could come out, but I can see 5 teams coming out of the East right now. In the West, I only see 3.5.
That can make
it out.
I mean,
both LAs. I still say Denver could come out, and Houston is a half for me. Like,
so, but what you said, both LAs, Denver,
and Houston's like a half for me. Like,
okay, so yeah,
I don't really believe Russ and Harden, but I mean, it's hard to count out Russ and Harden.
Okay, and then who do we legitimately believe can make it out the East? So
Milwaukee, Miami, Boston, Philly, Indiana.
I don't see Miami making it out this.
They're at the very bottom of my list. Like, they're the 5th.
So Miami or Milwaukee, Philly for sure.
Yeah.
Who's another team you think is a for sure, like they are contender and we have to take them
Boston.
seriously?
Boston.
I could give you that before I give you Miami. So
yeah, I agree. Like, So
okay.
if I had to rank them, it's Milwaukee, Philly, Boston, Indiana, Miami. And once again, this is all depending on how Victor Oladipo looks.
Yeah, Indiana would, like you said, would have to get the best draw.
Like, Victor Oladipo has to be fully healthy again.
Okay. Like I said, nah, man, it's the best.
Now, if Vic isn't healthy, then I cross them out the list.
It's the best Eastern Conference we've seen in a minute, and I think, and good news, fellas, it's only getting better because Brooklyn got a footer that's coming back next year.
Best player in the world.
Hope he is. I hope he returns.
He's gonna be fine, man, because he's either gonna be what he was before or he's gonna be Black Dirk, and that's a problem either way.
I hope so.
So Talked about the guy in Brooklyn, the footer. But Kyrie came back tonight.
He did.
Like we talked about earlier. He
dropped. Man, it felt good. All felt right with the world.
Mind you, he only played the Hawks without Trey.
You don't pick who you play.
He played well. Do y'all think he will continue to play, or do y'all think he might actually go through with his surgery and sit out with the rest of the year?
I think after All-Star break, he'll sit out. I don't really see him playing that much this year, honestly. And, if he does, that's cool as long as he stays healthy for next year. But I definitely think he's going to play this throughout All-Star break and probably, takes his backseat in, March.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I would hate it if he did that. I would hate it.
Yeah, and my question would be, why would he play now? What was the point in playing?
Because he wants to be in the All-Star game. Somebody asked
true.
Somebody asked him, they were like, yo, wasn't he number 2 at a certain point in time for East?
Yeah, he's right behind Trae Young.
Yeah, so it's yo, how do you feel you haven't played since November? You're that high up in the rankings.
So my man's really gonna come back for an All-Star game?
Yes, he would. He literally said
we've seen it done before.
He said, if you want an All-Star game, I should be in it. If you want to see an All-Star game, I should be in it.
Facts. He's definitely gonna put it on the show.
I'm sure he wants that All-Star game MVP, so that way we still got to talk about him. I'm sure there's somewhere in his contract that there's a nice little cash incentive for him probably getting an All-Star game MVP because he's got one already. He does want to get off in that.
That's crazy.
And probably just because the team, people would bash Kyrie if he didn't play the whole year. So I think Tamonte, he's going to come back. He's going to play for the All-Star game. He's going to play for a little while. I wouldn't be shocked. Somewhere between March and April. Unless, I think maybe if things are going good, maybe. But I could see a scenario where, also he just packs it up and he's like, I'm not going to play. And then now we're really talking about a whole Boston situation repeating. Because I don't see how Spencer is cooking at the rate he is, playing All-Star like basketball. And then Kyrie is the type of guy, he's going to want to come back next and be like, all right, I step into my usual role.
But I don't think Spence is anything like Rozier.
But I think
I'm talking just mentally. I'm not talking about as a talent, anything.
Take a step back for him, though, still. His personality, his demeanor, I've yet to see Kyrie sacrifice.
What? As soon as Bron came back, he sacrificed.
But Bron, no. But the thing is, people be saying that, yes, he was the quote-unquote second player, but actually watching him, bro, Bron did not take away. Kyrie still got his shots.
We always say this about Bron. It's really hard to play with Bron because he does one or two things: put you in a corner, or he gives you the ball with 4 seconds left.
Just because Kyrie was so good at doing that doesn't necessarily mean he wasn't sacrificing.
Kyrie just had the ability to catch the ball.
He was still given the freedom to still average, bro, 27. Was it the exact way he wanted?
If you actually go back and look, Kyrie actually had a higher usage.
He looked better in a Bron-like system. Not even saying I like the way Bron plays, because I think the Bron system is going to die this year when they play in the playoffs, but that actually fit Kyrie more.
Because Kyrie can just adjust. He can take the ball and just
when
go
you're
immediately.
as quick as he is and as talented as he is,
he's arguably the greatest ball handler / shot creator in NBA history.
And
arguably,
literally, he's the perfect. He's the perfect running mate with Bron.
In fact,
so.
But that doesn't mean that
he didn't sacrifice.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's crazy.
Defines argument. Could he have averaged way more points without LeBron? Probably, but his game didn't really take a hit.
We saw exactly what he wanted and what he said he had wanted.
Standing on the wing, he wanted to stand on the wing.
He wanted to be an actual number one leader on the team.
Real talk. If you go back and look at Kyrie in Cleveland with LeBron, then when he went to Boston, where he quote unquote wanted the ball.
In Boston,
he did. Yeah. That was my next point. He sacrificed in Boston.
I agree
and he was
with that.
supposed to be the best player there.
I agree with that.
A lot in Boston.
I agree with that in terms of
sacrifice.
him going to
He
Boston.
did with the number one seed until he got hurt.
That first year though, they were cool with going through. So this is the thing that I will say a lot of times that people overlook in that Boston situation. Like you said, those first 60 games, they were the 1 seed. They had played the Warriors. They split. It was very interesting to see what Boston was going to be. That's when Tatum was still a baby, didn't know any better. Jalen was still a baby, didn't know any better. Terry had not got his moment yet. So Gordon Hayward was out. So they were going through Kyrie for these games. They were treating him.
And everybody was okay with it.
They were treating him like that one. He goes to the playoffs. They do their thing without him. So that way now they come back the next year. Kyrie in his mind is okay, that's cute and all what y'all did, but I am still me. Y'all need to follow me. All the young guys are hold on, man. We actually did this without you. So that's where the just butting of the heads came from. And then it just was a whole year of that. And I just see another situation like that happening now, where Kyrie's going to want to, at least next year.
I don't think so. I don't see it as that case. Because, one, you have Kevin Durant back. And hopefully he comes, and like you say, hopefully he comes back healthy. And then you already have your clear cut. Exactly. You already have your clear cut one. So that negates everything right there. Two, there's not that many guys on this team that we can look to and say, like, yo, they are actually all-star caliber players.
Like, as good as Spencer Dinwiddie has played, he knows,
he's a starting point guard.
He is a starting point guard,
but he is not.
But he knows he's not Kyrie. And unlike Terry Rozier, who's way younger and immature,
he knows he's not Kyrie.
So, but unlike Terry Rozier,
about Terry Rozier mentally,
like Terry Rozier was immature enough to not understand that. Spencer Dinwiddie knows, like, hey, I'm 27 years old. This is probably the best version of me at this point in my career.
No, I wouldn't say at 27. I think Spencer has one more level to take his game to. Not saying like
if we ain't already see it.
I think he can bare minimum. I could see Spencer being in a situation where he can contribute the manner he is right now for an entire year as a starting point guard.
So once again, I think this is, like I said, we've seen it this year. Like, this is what he is. He's a 20-point plus scorer.
23. He's having like
22 and a half. He's having 22 and a half right now. 6 assists. Like I said, I agree with you. I think he could. It's a very solid set. Like I said, if you send him somewhere else, I think he could do this for the next 3 years as a starting point guard on the team. Don't get me wrong. But he's still not Kyrie.
He ain't an all-star.
He knows he's not Kyrie. That's the point. I think he would be way more accepting, unlike Terry Rozier and Jason Tatum, who, granted, had their success moment in the playoffs and now thought higher of themselves than what they were. Spencer Dinwiddie, at the end of the day, he's not going to lead this team to the Eastern Conference Finals.
But I think he's going to want to see, can he go somewhere?
I don't think so.
I
think he is in that somewhere, though.
I think it depends.
I think he'll be content being the third wheel here.
I think it depends on
he recruited them there.
Exactly.
I don't know, is he going to be, he's going to, if anything, I still feel like potentially be fourth, because when everybody comes back, he's coming off the bench. Karras is going to be starting as well, and Karras gets his. But in that pecking order, still, it's going to be Kevin Durant. It's going to be Kyrie Irving. Karras is starting, therefore he's going to get his. And then
I don't necessarily agree with that. I think Spencer Dinwiddie would still be better. I think he would still be higher in the pecking order than Karras LeVert, especially with KD and Kyrie on the floor. Because with KD and Kyrie on the floor, Karras is definitely not going to get the touches that he wants in the starting lineup. Spencer's going to come off the bench and they're going to be like, hey, yo, carry the bench unit. He's going to be there, Lou Will.
Exactly.
Like, come off the bench. Your job is to get 22 points off the bench every night.
I wouldn't be shocked if because of that reason, though, they stagger minutes, and I wouldn't be shocked if they have a lot of Spencer Karras moments.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Like, they're both, they're going to be their version of Lou Will and Montrezl Harrell. Yeah. Like, this is your job to carry this bench unit and get us 20 points when KD and Kyrie are off the floor.
And I don't think he leaves just off the simple fact, one, TK said he recruited him, and two, it don't get no better than this, honestly. Like, you standing next to essentially
the two most talented basketball players in the world.
Yeah, like you
don't know what Kyrie's gonna do or say or act in that locker room.
Nobody knows.
We don't know. And that's
Nobody knows.
Because literally what y'all are all saying, oh, he's going to come back and everything's going to be fine.
I've never said that.
I didn't say it.
I've said from jump this ain't going to work. I've said from jump this ain't going to work.
Y'all acting like it's going to work, and I ain't going to lie. I was one of the people when Kyrie was coming back. I definitely tweeted when everybody was healthy and coming back, I was like, Boston will be in the NBA Finals of the year they picked up Boogie. So I guess that was this past year that they just had. I was saying, like, all right, Kyrie's back healthy. Like, everything was going to be good. This was after that first year where he got her. Basically, after they lost in the Eastern Conference Finals when they were all rookies.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, Kyrie's coming back. Gordon's coming back. We're assuming.
They should have been.
We
all thought. Like I said, they were a preseason pick to win, no doubt.
I was one of those people believing that. We're all saying right now it's going to happen the same way.
I'm not saying
I haven't said that.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is when you're looking at what they have, and they are two of the most talented players, especially when Kevin Durant's healthy. They're two of the most talented players in the NBA, arguably.
Yeah.
Like, I really can't.
Argument. I think it's 1 and 2.
It might be the two best.
They might be the most two talented people at that skill position. Period in history of basketball.
The only person that could argue against Kyrie is Steph, maybe. That's about it. Skill-wise.
Yeah. So, for Spence to say, I can't even see this through or see where this goes would be insane to me.
I would just and mind you, I'm only saying that if
and he already got a bag.
It's not,
just hang out. It's Brooklyn ain't a bad city.
Yeah,
big market.
I think he'll be up because this contract he's on right now will be up 2021. So or 2021. No, the 20. Okay, so technically 2022. Mm-hmm. And then I think there's a player option on that. So he'll potentially be 29, around 29.
Yeah.
When he can get, you know what I'm saying? This is the going for it all. Not saying, of course, he's not gonna get a max. No, but he could potentially get something bigger than what he has.
It'll be his last big contract.
Yeah, and he's gonna swing for the fences on that. And now, unfortunately, I don't think that'll be. I think he's gonna listen to who's gonna be the highest bidder because he's actually very smart with his money.
Oh yeah,
he's very, very good with his money. So I think he's.
If you're talking about 3 years down the road, will he be looking to move on? That's a very good possibility. But I don't think he's gonna force his way out.
Because of that, depending on the situation, like I said, how Kyrie is in the locker room, if he's telling Brooklyn, I'm not coming back, get me out of here before y'all lose, just let me go for free.
Right.
Then a team that knows we would take Spencer and sign him after this contract is up, that's a likely spot I feel like that would look to get him in a trade.
I think that would be. I agree with that. Like I said, it wouldn't shock me if Brooklyn did decide to move on from him. I don't think it would be.
Especially if they don't get a ring after their first.
I don't think it would be because of Spencer Dinwiddie though. I think that would be Brooklyn looking at their roster going, we technically don't need Spencer and he can get us the most on the trade market, so we're gonna make a move. I don't think it would be because Spencer Dinwiddie wants out per se. I think it would just be Brooklyn making a move.
I'm not saying, once again, I know Spencer is way more smarter than Terry. We know this. But at the end of the day, like I said, I'm more so just banking on the fact, man, Kyrie, I love him, but he's a wild card.
We all acknowledge that.
I love him, man.
The biggest wild card.
And he's another guy, I'm putting him also in that Chris Paul category where I just want his winning. Now, once again, whenever I say Kyrie, it's going to be post-Bron when I refer to him as far as winning. I want his talent to match up with wins.
Hey, Brooklyn wins the championship. You going to trade in your Lakers jersey? If LeBron's still on the team?
LeBron signed. I traded in my Lakers jersey. With the acres, baby.
Let's segue into that, man.
So, yeah. The Lakers.
This weekend they were the Acres. Because what? Did LeBron not play in either game or just the Thunder?
They weren't even the Acres.
Nah, he played against Dallas. He didn't play against Thunder.
AD wasn't even there. They was just the Curves.
The Curves.
No LeBron, no AD, the Curves.
So, yeah.
Ooh, L for LeBron, A for just the Curves.
Y'all nasty.
Kuzma.
Both of y'all nasty for doing this.
The
Curves. Corn balls. So, Lakers, LBJ and Anthony Davis sit out. But the Kuzma and the bench do their thing. They get a huge win versus the Thunder.
Is it a huge win?
They blew them out. So
okay,
that's why.
I thought
that's
you
why.
meant in margin. I was
No,
like,
they
that
just
was kind of.
No, they just played the Thunder.
You beat a plajaff team without your two best players. You take that. You take that.
And Kuz dropped 36.
Yep.
Jared Dudley came on Twitter, talk about 15 deep. Does this change anybody's perception of their team as a bench?
I do. I forget who made the quote. It may have been Dudley. I forget who, but basically somebody was saying all 15 on that team do have something to prove individually. He was like, of course, people were saying Bron and their age.
Oh, no, Kuzma.
I think it was Kuzma that said that. Basically, he was like, he ripped it off. He was like, Dwight, his thing is redemption right now.
Yeah, he was like, AD wants a chip. Bron wants one in LA. Dwight wants redemption. He was like, he wants to establish himself.
So, because of that, I will say this. To date, this is the most probably locked in I've seen a Bron team through a regular season in recent years. Once he started making these super teams, because even with the Miami Heat, they had that first year when they all got together, it was kind of rocky at first, and then they hit a stride.
Yeah.
And then they took off. He did have that one great year. He was about to get MVP and Defensive Player of the Year. Did he in that 2012-2013 year? So I think after that was one of the best Bron teams through a regular season just storming through that. Cleveland, he swept through all those regular seasons. A lot of those years they were getting to the finals. They weren't a top 2 seed in the East. Mm-hmm. So I will give them credit because they are like last time I checked, I think as of today they were like 32-7. So like probably by like next pod, for sure the following pod, everybody would be halfway through their year at playing 41 games because the Lakers have done 39. So definitely by the time we pod on Sunday, I'm sure every team in the league it'll be midterms.
Yeah,
facts.
And I will say they at least are having a B+ as of right now on the season.
I'll say my grade for the next pod. I think I'm not sold on their bench just yet.
And I'm not either.
I feel like they still have to figure out their identity in terms of what they look like when LeBron isn't on the court. They are one of the highest offensive rated teams in the league when LeBron's on the court. When he steps off the court,
they're pretty bad.
Yeah, very bad. I think they go from like top 3 to like 18 or 20, something like that. So they're really, really bad when he's not on the court. And a lot of people are in this hater to love it relationship with Rajon Rondo, trying to figure out what he's doing with him.
It's
that game versus the Thunder, that's just Kuz getting hot.
Yeah, he was
like
hot.
It didn't. I didn't learn anything from that game. Kuz just got hot.
And that's what I think this long term. And I was thinking about it while I was at the birthday event today, man. I'm gonna say it today. I'm gonna say it now, and I'm gonna just rock with it for as long as we do this pod, whether we get stupid rich off this or not. But I'm gonna say long term, I'm gonna say Kuz is gonna be better than BI. And I think for that moment, right?
So glad.
I think for that, and I'm
we're all here for this.
Yeah.
So I ain't got to do it.
I'm gonna make that hill for myself. That's another hill that I'm gonna stand on and
die on.
I will, bruh. I'm cool. So what is that? Is that my?
I don't even know if it's a hill anymore, bro. I think it's
hill?
a grave. I think it's a grave because I'm sick of this, bro.
Y'all saying it now.
Has one week, bro.
Yeah, but he has a decent 3-game stretch, and you're like, boom, look, I told you.
But I've been saying.
B, I've been doing this all year long,
bro. And I'm gonna tell y'all what I was telling Saman this week when we were talking about it. Okay, so yes, credit to BI, bro, because he is averaging 25 and he is putting on what
whole season.
Whole season, yes.
Number 1 option.
Correct.
What are we talking about then?
Can I finish?
Go ahead.
Where are they at winning wise right now, bro?
This
is what
I'm going home, bro.
Bro, y'all.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
If I'm gonna get yelled at, I'm not gonna be able to get my point out.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, so as far as BI, I want to see will BI be able to keep this up when he is on a team that is like, okay, we are locked in, we are winning, we are trying to make the playoffs right now. Because I feel like if New Orleans was in a different setting, or maybe they had some more guys around, I don't know if he would still be a 25-point scorer. And if he is, fine. But if not, I say this, and I was telling you, Taman, like, he could be, if he just is 25, 26, 26, but these playoffs are not, or these teams are not making the playoffs, then it's like, okay, are these empty numbers in a sense? I think with Kuz, I think what he did yesterday against the Thunder, going for 30+, he had a good game against the Mavericks.
He wasn't that good. Shot 40% from the field. But go ahead.
Still, but
he was 1 for 6 from 3. But go ahead.
Keep in mind. Keep in mind.
Go ahead. Keep in mind. The other night he had no assists, no steals, no block.
He
did nothing but shoot the ball. But go ahead.
We're not asking.
He did nothing but shoot the ball. But go ahead.
That is his job on this team, though.
Okay. You build the team around that guy then.
No, I never said to build a team around him. And we're not even for sure. People are already latching on this bandwagon that you can build a team around BI.
I'll build around him before I build around
But bro, but we're gonna see over these next couple of years as well. Can BI actually be somebody you build around? Because right now, bro,
I can't build around Kuz.
It is an empty year. I've never said Kuz was supposed to be somebody that you do build around. I think Kuz is honestly a number 2 option. There's only so many number 1 legitimately good there's only about 8 to 10 number 1 options in the league you can win a chip with legitimately. So let's not knock everybody for that. Because there's only half those guys in the All-Star game that are number 1 options you can win with. B.I. is not one of those. And he might not ever... He's not going to be a championship number 1 type of option guy.
I can say this. League.
He's not.
Even,
and
let's say...
I never said Kuz would be a 1, so don't reply with Kuz not going to be a 1, bro. When I'm talking about Kuzma, I'm saying I can see him being in the
I'll have B.I. as my number 2, number 3 over Kuzma any day of the week.
If B.I., you say everything you just said about B.I., and let's just skip the argument and say everything you just said is true. And let's move B.I. to a number 2. He's a better number 2 option than Kuzma. That's the whole point we're making.
I say we say that now, bro.
At any stage, you're gonna put Bi and Kuzma on a sports level. Bi is better.
Kuzma is still improving.
Bi is better at the
B.I.
game.
is not?
Bro, they're both still getting better. I understand that, but what I'm saying is B.I. is in a situation where they're like, here, bro, shoot all the shots that you
And he's still more efficient than Kuzma.
Bro, I don't give a bro.
Kuzma's getting wide open shots he's not hitting. B.I.'s being double teamed and hitting.
Bro, it's two different situations, bro. It is two complete. They're allowing B.I. Yo, we know we're going to lose, but we want to see what you can do on a night.
But what Brian is now mentioning is that, yeah, they're in two totally different situations where B.I. you get to let loose, and B.I. is literally playing better than Kuzma is. And Kuzma on a leash.
But Kuzma's been on a leash all year.
But what I'm trying to say is, you put a guy on a leash, and you put a guy who's not on a leash, and the guy who's on a leash is playing better, like numbers-wise, efficiently,
the guy who's
all
not
of that.
On a leash, is playing better.
Yes.
Of course, he's not on a leash.
But what I'm trying to say is,
Kuz
you're
is
saying
on a
B.I.'s
leash.
able to get 25 in a game because
Partially,
he's able to
yes.
put up the shots he wants.
Because he's given that
And
freedom.
Kuzma's in a system where you're not able to get that freedom to make those mistakes.
So why are we
And you're
shocked?
still making more mistakes, and you're playing worse than the guy who has the green light to play bad.
I wouldn't say, bro.
B.I. has the green light to play bad, and he's playing better than the guy who doesn't.
Did you not talk about a podcast that Gilbert Arenas himself said? There are a lot of other guys that could have did what it is he did. The coach just decided to run the offense through him.
And I'm trying to say, Kuz can't do what B.I. does.
Bro,
That's my whole
point.
point. That's the whole point.
Play style, I don't want to hear about stats or anything like that. Because first off, when these playoffs come around and some of these dudes that you just be 50, 40, 90 about lose, we're going to come back to those. From a legitimate play style standpoint, Klay Thompson is the main guy I talk about. He can be a number one option, but it is not in a manner where like everybody else in this league for the most part. Let me finish, bruh. Let me finish.
We've been letting you go this whole time.
Yes, please, and continue. Because there's going to be people out here on this pod that get it. That actually know, that are actually not looking at stats right now and understand what I'm saying.
I think like 85% of anybody you ask is going to take Brandon over Kuzma.
I'm not talking about Ingram right now. I'm saying just from Kuz's game perspective right now.
But nobody's disrespecting Kuz's league.
We're
just
not.
saying Brandon's better. That's it.
It's just because...
That's
we're literally
it.
just saying Ingram is better than Kuzma. That's all we're saying.
it.
I've said from jump, Kuzma is a 15 to 20 point scorer in the league for the next 10 years.
We're acting like B.I. has just... He's averaging 25 on a team that's going to be in the lottery, bruh.
I mean, are they not missing supposedly their best player?
Real quick. Real quick.
You're the one that's been hyped on this Zion train forever.
Wait. Real quick. Who's better, Devin Booker or Kuz?
D-Book.
That's a dumb question, of course.
Who's winning? Who's winning? Who's losing, Lee?
I never compared.
Who's winning? Who's losing?
That's a dumb comparison.
No, it's
It's
not.
the exact same. It's the exact same. D-Book and Ingram average the exact same. They average the exact same.
Lee, are the Suns gonna be in the lottery? The Suns gonna be in the lottery?
We finna.
No. Are the Suns gonna be in the lottery?
Are the Suns gonna be in
Your
the lottery?
argument for Booker is the
The
exact same against
Pelicans
Ingram,
are
though.
gonna be in the lotteries. So both of those teams are gonna be in the lottery. Both of those teams feature 25 point per game scores. You're saying one is definitively better than Kuzma, but the other isn't.
They're two complete.
How? They do the exact-
better than B.I., bro.
Can't, not
say
this
he's-
year. You can't prove it. This year, they average
Booker
the
over
exact
B.I.
same.
I like Booker.
They
over
average the
B.I.,
exact
but
same.
I like them both over
Bro, you
Kuzma.
put D-Book in.
I think Brandon Ingram can be just as good as D-Book. Yes, I think so.
Not, though. He can be, but he's not.
This year, if you put the numbers side by side, you're not gonna be able to tell the difference. You're not gonna be able to tell the difference.
Bruh, he just started. So now, because now you're saying B.I. is that close to D-Book.
I think he could be just as.
All I'm saying.
That is super disrespectful.
Can-
I don't know what made.
How's that
all y'all get on
disrespectful?
this B.I.
How is that
That's so
disrespectful?
crazy.
What has Booker won? What has Booker won?
He's been looking at the teams he's been on.
Then look at the team Ingram's on.
Real quick.
Look at the team Ingram's on.
That's the point. You said B.I. is getting.
You're proving my point.
I'm not.
You're
No,
proving
he's running a
everybody's
circle.
point.
Look,
He's running a circle.
You gonna let me talk? Because you just spoke for 15 minutes. You're proving our point. Devin Booker ain't win anything since he's been in Phoenix.
Look at his team.
He ain't win.
But look,
Don't say anything.
He
You don't let me talk, bro.
Bro,
You
don't
gonna-
punch my couch, bro.
you gonna let me
Don't
talk?
punch my couch, bro.
You gonna let me talk? You gonna let me talk? All right. Devin Booker hasn't won anything in Phoenix. Look at his mobs. Yes, they're bad. They have not been good since he's been there. Brandon Ingram has not won anything in New Orleans. Look at his mob. That mob is not good. It's not complete. They are both putting up similar numbers. But according to you, Devin Booker.
Exact same.
Devin Booker is better than Kuz. But Brandon Ingram is not. When they both are the first options on bad teams currently right now.
Who has the better team this year?
So what are we saying, bro?
Who has the better team this year? I want to know.
What's this about now? You just want Kuz to be better. If that's cool, that's cool. It can be that way. But you have no evidence to say that he is right now.
I'm not, bro. When we talk about Kuz with this, bro, I'm still saying I think long term. I'm saying projection, and y'all are, all three of y'all have capped Kuz for what he's going.
We're not. I have not capped him. I have not.
Brian capped him.
I have not capped him.
I've capped him.
I have not. Look, it's not.
22, 23.
Look, okay. Even if it's not.
Off 1 year, bro. There's so many guys we put on that New Orleans team that it's like, yo, we're gonna lose regardless, but we're gonna pick you to be the one to go and get it. There's a lot of other guys that would be getting 25 in that predicament. There's a lot of guys.
Would they be shooting 47%, 40% from three?
About percentages, bro. Yes, he's
That's what separates the great from good, though.
DeMar DeRozan is shooting very efficiently, and people talk about him every day like.
And DeMar's an all-star.
And he needs, but we have also said he is somebody that you cannot win with, a chip with. He got traded.
I said it.
So that's what I'm saying. B.I. Dollar.
But you think Kuzma is somebody that can, like,
No,
I don't get it.
Saying that he was going to be a one.
So what's the point of that statement then?
I don't think B.I.
Oh, here's what I'm here, and we're gonna get out on this. We're gonna get out on this.
The ways you rip down B.I.
And
you
the way
can't
y'all
build.
rip down Kuz,
But
Who's ripping him
I just
down?
said Brandon's better.
So saying somebody's
Brandon's
gonna
better.
be a 20-point scorer for 10 years is capping him. I said he's gonna be a 15 to 20-point scorer in the league for 10 years. How is that capping somebody?
I don't know what he's gonna do. I just think Brandon's gonna just be better. He's going to do it better.
I think
Like,
he got out of his
it-
bad situation.
like,
I think he got
all-
under
the
I
whole-
think he got away from LA first. That's all it is.
All I
And I
think,
can't wait for this to unfold, bro.
I can't wait for it to unfold too, so I can tell you I'm right.
No, so I can tell you I'm right.
Honestly, because that's crazy, Lee. It's crazy. No one said that Kuz sucked. No one in here said that Kuz was trash. We just said that Brandon Ingram is going to excel faster because he's more talented. That is it. Kuz is going to get better. He's going to play great basketball, and he's going to. Like, we never said he wasn't going to get better. But Ingram is going to get better.
You know what's
faster.
crazy right
Not
now?
gonna stay
You know what's
stagnant.
really crazy right now? You're talking about everybody capping Kyle Kuzma, but you're watching Brandon Ingram keep improving, and you're like, oh, well, Ingram, he's not going to get better either.
I never said he was.
But that's what you're acting like.
No, I'm not.
You're watching a dude average 25 at 22 years old and like, well, I guess he'll never average 30. Like, what says Brandon M can't be a 30-point scorer in the league? He's averaging 25 at 22 years old. Can you really look me in my face and say there's no chance he averages 30? Can you really look me in my eye and say that?
I'll be real. Yes, for the fact that he's averaging 25, there is a chance he could. Do I think he will? No.
Just so I can say the same thing about Kyle Kuzma. Then.
I don't think Kuz was going to average 30.
No,
There's only
no. Listen to what I'm saying. I've said from jump, Kyle Kuzma is a 15 to 20-point scorer in the league for 10 years. I've said that on record multiple times. I've said I don't think he'll ever average 25.
Kyle Kuzma will have multiple years where he averages above 20 flat, which is what you're saying. So you're saying his cap will be 20 points flat per game.
I think that's where he caps out.
I
think that's where he caps out. So what does Brandon Ingram cap out at?
I can see Brandon definitely flirting around this as long as teams are still giving him that green light. I can see him flirting around this 25 to 26 per year thing. I can see him doing that, yes, because he has that type of bag. But be honest with you, past that, I want to see in return how much winning is that team doing.
I want to see Kyle Kuzma on a bad team now, just to see what happens. Because I don't think he'll be that good.
That's what I said. I said if you swapped him and you gave Kyle Kuzma this Pelicans mob, I don't think he's going for 25 if he gets the same shots.
Don't see it.
And I'll say this.
If you put him in the same situation, one's going to be definitively better.
This year, potentially no, because once again, his skill set is not what B.I.'s is. B.I. definitely, of course, we know has more off the dribble right now. Like, we know B.I.'s bag right now is better. We understand that.
But what do you see
that
makes Kuzma's exponentially passes?
The microwave ability for him from a jump shooting standpoint. I feel like
Brandon Ingram's the better jump shooter now.
Bro, he doesn't get the same amount of shots, and he doesn't. Brian, for you to be a hooper, bro, you look at that computer and forget everything a hooper does when he plays as far as.
Bro,
you're gonna shoot the
bro.
same. You're gonna shoot
You know what's crazy? The reason the Lakers kept Kyle Kuzma over Brandon Ingram because they were like, yo, if we put Kyle Kuzma as a jump shooter next to LeBron James, he's gonna be better than Brandon Ingram. Brandon Ingram has left LeBron and become a better jump shooter.
Bron keeps shooters, but he does not give his shooters flow.
But if you're
he doesn't give him flow, Brian.
If you're a shooter, you're supposed to be able to hit wide open shots.
You know that's not true. You know that's not true, and it doesn't work that way.
That's the reason they kept him.
It does not work that way. If you get sat in the corner, you get no rhythm.
I've said that from jump about LeBron's team. I've said that from jump.
You would not hit in that moment.
But that's what they pay him to do.
No, bro, but you know that's not how basketball works. Guys in the league guys that have played with Bron said that. Shump has said that himself, and he helped him win a race.
So Kyle Kuzma and Shump is the same?
No, that's dumb. You're not even making sense right now. We're saying, of course, I never said Shump was Kuzma. But I'm saying somebody that actually played says you play with Bron, it's a lot of standing, and those moments that the ball hits your hand, unfortunately, whether it's the first time in a minute it's touched your hands or not, you have to hit. And if not, the whole world is going to blame you. True. And right now, what we are all seeing within Kyle, the whole world is blinded, bro, but Kuzma has now been inserted into that K-Love role. When literally a year and a half to 2 years ago,
compare K-Love and Kyle Kuzma.
Everybody was saying, oh my gosh, like this guy might be this and that and this and that and this and that. And gracefully and to the betterment of B.I., he was able to get out of that situation first. Not only is that going to help his development, also Lonzo was hooping. Lonzo was playing at a high level.
I agree with that.
I wanted to keep him. I really wanted to keep him.
I agree with that.
Shaky for a minute in the beginning of the year.
He was hurt.
He was hurt, but like
4 double-doubles.
December on,
he's balling.
He averaged like 21 one week.
I don't want to just. I wouldn't even say disrespect like what he did in LA because he had some good moments, but this is I think the best stretch he has had in the league.
Yes, it is. I agree.
But once again, that is when he was able to get out underneath.
But
so your whole premise is because we gotta get out of here. We gotta get out of here.
We do. I'm done. I'm talking.
Your whole premise is if Kuz leaves LeBron, his game will ascend at the same rate as B.I.
And I can't guarantee that. That's why I say no.
I say it will because since Statman over here loves to look at stats so much,
I'm not even talking about stats anymore. I'm just looking at games.
Bruh.
One was doing.
They were their stats.
Yes, you want to know what the difference is between the two. Real talk. This is why I said B.I. was always better because last year Kyle Kuzma and Brandon Ingram averaged about the same amount of points. Right, 70% of Kyle Kuzma buckets was fast break and catch and shoot. He can't create. Bro, that's the difference.
You're yelling about something that I actually have already said in a talking manner multiple times. I said they get it in different manners, bruh.
But that's the difference between a superstar and a role player. A role player needs to be set up.
So Klay Thompson is a role player because he's definitely not getting his off the dribble. He's definitely not getting it in the B.I.
Which is why, once again, I wouldn't
build
my offense around Klay Thompson. I wouldn't build my offense around Klay Thompson. No, I wouldn't build my offense around Klay Thompson. Yeah, they're a great dynasty.
I want that to be
He's a great dynasty.
Is Klay Thompson the number one option? Because I think
you can't win a championship with him, according to you.
I didn't say. When did I say you can't win with Klay Thompson?
I mean, going off like I said, you said there's only 8. You said from jump, so you think he's one of the 8 or 10 guys you can win a championship with is the number one option. You said there's only 8 or 10 guys you can do it with. You think he's one of those?
Say honestly, bro.
You're crazy.
In a situation, depending on who you put next to Klay could be a one option and you could win a championship. I think.
You crazy. I love Klay Thompson, one of my favorite players in the NBA.
All the time,
like no,
it's just gonna be harder to do it with Klay.
Reggie Miller didn't win.
But did he?
He didn't win.
But
he didn't win. He didn't win. Did he win? According to you, it's all about wins, right? It's all about wins, right? Did he win? Did he win?
You're gonna take what I said.
Did he win?
It's all about wins to me.
You said it's all about wins. Did he win?
Let's get out of here.
Did he win?
I wanna shout out everyone who's watched the pod, everyone who's enjoyed it. You can follow us on Instagram at @HoopsMinorPod, at Twitter on Minor and Hoops. Only One Beecham, King Kama Taman, Coach Leak with a K, One Greggy on Instagram. We appreciate everyone who's watched and subscribed and shared and listened. Keep doing that. We really, really love it. As you can see, we kind of heated right now. Leaks returned. So, we all on go. We're all on go now. And we missed him. We love my guy. We love our guy, Leak.
I'm going to call these guys
but
some foul names.
as soon as this pod ends. But like I said, we do appreciate it. Announcement. In February, we're trying to put together a live stream, all-star live stream for y'all to watch. We're going to have some other guests on the show. Y'all have heard us mention our boy Manny. Manny's going to be back on the show. We're going to have some other people as well. So please tune in for that. We're trying to figure out the actual day, whether we're going to do it on the all-star game day or the day where they do the dunk contest and the three-point contest and the skills challenge. Go with that. So we'll probably do it that then. We'll talk about it, get all the details straight. But please, stay tuned with us. Follow us to keep up with all the details. We're going to be sending that out real soon. TK, send us home.
All right. Special shout out Dunkman Keith. I don't know. We gave out his socials. He's not here today.
He's
on
now.
Load management. Like I said, ever since I hurt my knee, I've been a firm believer in load management. What else? I want to give a shout out to what the NBA players always said is the biggest problem that they face during the year, and it's lack of sleep. Hey, it's Sunday night. It's really, really late. This is the latest we've ever done a pod.
Big time.
My eyes are droopy. Y'all are going to see it in the YouTube video. I just look exhausted. I am, bro. So this is just a big shout out to sleep. All you athletes, make sure you get more of it.
Drink water. As I always say, man, remember, eat, sleep, breathe the game. We love you. We out.
We out.
Oh, my God.